Hello and welcome to another episode of Food as Fuck. My name is Zeke and Simone is behind the camera as usual, and this week we are cooking Lazy Ramen. Lazy Ramen. So it looks like there are a lot of ingredients here on the table, but by Lazy Ramen, what I mean is I'm not gonna go through the trouble of making noodles and making a soup from scratch. Everything here is gonna be very easy and very quick and very simple to prepare. So let's see what we're gonna do. I'm gonna be using 2 eggs. I'm making 2 ramen bowls, one for Semwa and the other for Semone. And we are also gonna be putting some green onions, or scallions, whatever you want to call them, ginger, garlic, our 2 best friends, and we're also going to be using Spam, and this is a teriyaki Spam. I'm also going to be using miso for the soup, and a little bit of Nor stock pot. Now this stuff is awesome. I'm going to be using hoisin sauce to top the dish off at the very end. We're also going to be using honey. Hello, Mr. Bear. And we are also going to be using sesame seed oil, a little bit of soy sauce, milk, liquid smoke. That sounds cool.
What about
liquid smoke? This basically just gives your food a smoky flavor. Like if you want a barbecue-y sort of like flavor. We're also going to be using some nori or seaweed. Same stuff that basically you buy to make sushi with. Last but not least, fresh noodles. So these are 450 grams of fresh noodles and they cost $2.50. I think that is money well spent. Today we're going to be marinating our soft-boiled eggs so they look just like the ones that you get at a ramen shop, you know? They have a little sort of brownish color to them and it's actually really easy to make. So I'll show you how right now. So put the eggs in the boiling water for 6 minutes. 6 minutes on the timer. That's it. While the eggs are boiling, we are going to start on our marination sauce. So just get a plastic bag, put it in the bowl. So soy sauce. You don't have to use the expensive one. Just, you know. I would say I am putting about, I don't know, maybe half a cup. This much, right? I'm gonna put a little bit of sesame seed oil, a little bit of honey, now give this a good shake, try and mix it with the honey. Now by itself this is going to be too strong, so we're going to add a little bit of water to dilute this a little bit. Almost 75% of what we had in there. Back into our bowl so we don't drop anything. Now this is where the liquid smoke comes in. We're gonna put about 3 drops. And I'm not kidding, like 3 drops, or this is gonna taste horrible. So 1, 2, 3. And that's it, that's our marination sauce. Peel your eggs, so just be very gentle. Remember these are soft-boiled eggs. And that's it. So if you are doing this in a hurry and you really want a marinated egg, you can probably keep it for, I don't know, an hour should be okay to sort of infuse a little bit of that flavor in there. I wouldn't use one before the next day, personally myself. But yeah, anywhere from an hour to half a day, you should be good. Vegetable chopping time. So for the soup today, we are going to be using our leeks. So, not leeks, sorry. These are scallions. Sort of chop them off here. Give it a light score. And that's it. So we're just gonna throw them whole into the soup. These I'm gonna be using to top our ramen with later, so I'm just gonna keep them like this. I'm just gonna chop them just before we put them on the ramen so they're fresh. I'm probably gonna be using about maybe this much ginger. This is the first episode where I have no bandages on my hands and I have no cuts anywhere. So I'm using a spoon for this part because I don't want to make this a tradition.
What?
Guess what spoon we're using?
The spoon of the metal.
No, dude, it's the spoon of love. Yeah. We are going to be grating our ginger just into whatever bowl you have. Oh yeah, you always have to be gentle with the garlic. Oh shit, I was supposed to grate the garlic. Okay, ingredients for the soup are ready to go. So the way that I'm gonna do it is, again, I'm not very good with measurements. I just usually eyeball everything. So I'm gonna say this is enough for one person. And remember, there's gonna be noodles and a lot of stuff here. This is actually more than we need for one person, but that's what I'm going with. 2, I'm going to make a little extra soup because soup is nice. I like soup. And 3, all right. I'm actually going to go on high heat for now because we are going to be adding all our ingredients now. So we're going in first with our leeks. So just put the leeks straight into the water.
Sorry, scallion.
Oh, you're right. These are scallions, sorry. Green onions or scallions. Green onions, green onions. And then we're putting in our ginger. So ginger goes in. A tablespoon of garlic. To the soup, I'm also going to be adding some soy sauce. So probably 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. 1 tablespoon of honey. Almost half a tablespoon of sesame oil. This is the Nori stock pot that I told you about. It's almost like very gelatinous in texture, but man, this stuff is so good. 1/4 to 1/3 maybe of the chicken stock pot thing. Now I want to give this sort of rich flavor with everything else that I have going on here, so I'm not gonna put a lot of milk, but I'm gonna put about, this is, I don't know, 3 tablespoons of milk. Ooh, look at that. Now, we're only going to bring this up to a boil. The second it reaches a boil, we're gonna put this down on low heat and we're gonna let it sort of simmer for about 10 to 12 minutes.
Okay, Zeke, tell everybody what you did.
I forgot to put the bay leaf in, man. So just put the bay leaf in at the beginning when you're adding everything in. Do what I say, don't do what I do.
Quack, quack, quack.
Thanks, Simo. So the final twist that I'm adding to this already awesome soup here is we're gonna be adding our misos. So we're gonna be straining the soup into this other pot here. And this is where we put our miso. I'm just gonna wash the spoon for a second. Simone always complains when I'm not ready before shooting. Like me washing the spoon now is wasting time.
Yeah, we have only 1 battery.
We do. I don't want this to be a miso soup, but I want a hint of sort of miso. I'm just gonna take 1 spoon. I washed my hands, I promise. So the miso is in the pot. I'm just gonna strain the soup. Remember, this is hot as F. I'm just stirring the miso into the soup here. And actually, now we can go back to the stove and we're not gonna cook this anymore. I just want to put it just under medium and just let this stay at a nice hot temperature. Remember, we only put about 3 tablespoons of milk here, which is why it has this nice sort of cloudy texture to it. And the miso also helps. So let's give this a try. And this is hot. So, oh man, this is gonna hurt. So remember, this is Lazy Ramen, and instead of having to spend a lot of time making some kind of topping, like, I don't know, chicken or beef or whatever it is that you want, we're gonna use Spam. Now this is the part that everybody hates, because it never comes out, never comes out. Oh, it came out! Ta-da! I am going to cut this into sort of a nice generous amount, so I'm saying this is, I I know, just over a centimeter here. Someone you should do that sword sound later. Fa-ching! Fa-ching! All right, so these are a little bit on the thick side, but the reason for that is I really want to crisp up the outside on both sides of them. Pick a nori. Any nori. Oh, excellent. Now put it back and don't let me see where you put it.
Don't look.
Don't look, man. I'm not looking. I'm not looking. Now watch this. Is this it?
Dude!
I know, man. I know. We want our Spam and our noodles to get done at sort of the same time. What you really want is medium, right? So remember, we don't want to burn our Spam. We wanted to develop a nice crust. Now, you don't actually need butter for this. The Spam has enough fat in it, but I can't say no to butter, man. I have this thing. I'm just gonna go very simple. So I'm bringing the heat a little bit above medium now. So they're all warmed up. So I'm gonna start crisping them up now. So I turned up the heat on high and we are gonna start flipping those. They're starting to crisp up. We're almost at the 2-minute mark, so I'm gonna bring the heat up high here on my water that's been sort of simmering. It should start boiling within a few seconds. And we are gonna put our noodles in, and the noodles, because they're fresh, these ones are gonna go in for 2.5 minutes. Give your noodles a stir, just to make sure that nothing is stuck at the bottom. All right, it's 2.5 minutes. Here goes. And the noodles are done. We are plating now. So noodles. So there we go. So I'm just gonna put some soup to come up to this much. There we go. So for the eggs, you can very easily cut them with a knife, and that's what I usually do. But I'm just gonna show you a nice trick today. You can just use dental floss and just make sure that it's unflavored dental floss. So just tie it to something to sort of hunker it down. Just take your egg and hold it in your hand and run the dental floss through it. You get a nice clean cut, and look at that egg. Now I'm gonna put my Spam in. Pick a nice generous heap of spring onions in the middle. This last part is not necessary, but if you can get your hands on this, and this in Japanese is called furikake, and what it basically is, it's a rice seasoning. And then to finish, hoisin sauce. I'm gonna put a little drop on each half of the eggs. Shapow, baby! Shapow! Lazy Ramen. All right. Remember, slurping is encouraged.
Oh yeah. So good, man.
Is it good? Oishii desu ka, Samone-san? Subarashi! Yatta! Thank you again for watching another episode of Food as Fuck. I was Zeke again, and this is Simone. Please follow us on our Facebooks, our Instagram, our Twitter. We've set all that stuff up now and should be working. And we love you guys. Stay tuned for more.
What the fuck was that?